Hi, it's the mini painting noob here. Today I'm going to be painting the big bad wolf from the Grimm Forest board game. Today we're going to tackle his blazer and pants, do some dry brushing on his cheeks, this fur here, just to brighten that up a little bit. He's an old aging wolf, and I think I want to put a bit of extra red on his cape and just give it a bit more of a sinister feel. Alright, so let's make a start with his vest. So for that I will be using Camo Cloak Speedpaint. I'm going to have a look here at his card. So we've got an indication that he's wearing a green vest. Camo Cloak looks like a fairly good match. No indication what colour pants he's wearing, so I was thinking I'll match that with dark wood. Green vest, brown pants. Classic. Alright, let's get cracking. Let's get a bit of paint on the palette here and alright, load up the brush. So he's got white sleeves, so I'm going to try and avoid getting any of this in the white areas. I'm thinking the brush I chose today is too big. The format of my videos tends to be sort of like a live stream, except, not being live. Long format, so if you're interested in results, you can always chop through, cut to the end. If you like watching videos, having a little bit of a chat, you can always I tend to ask a lot of questions as I'm talking. Really interested to hearing your opinions on what I'm doing, so feel free to comment in the chat. Let me know how I'm getting on. I'm a new painter, been doing this for about a month. My only experience is with Speedpaint. The set came out and I thought I would give this a go. I've got quite a few board games with minis, and the Grimm Forest is one where I thought it was a cheap game and not a lot of risk there if I do something wrong, I'd be too upset. If I do a really bad job. It's a cool game. I like playing it with my kids. We play like an amended rules variant without all of the cards. It's a lot more cutthroat with adults, as you have all of the cards to play against each other. It's a really weird, awkward bit that's difficult to get to under the armpit here. So sorry you can't really see a lot. This is live videos for you. I need to see where I'm painting, but you guys want to see what I'm painting. Okay, so just got under there, making a little bit of a few splashes on his sleeves that I'll try and get off, and then we'll move to the pants. You can see here the speed paint has pulled quite nicely in the folds and recesses Might be a little bit too much in where the buttons are. So I might take a little bit of that off. Just trying to get some of this green off this brush. So you always come in later and just suck some of that off. And so long as it's not too dry, it will move around just fine. If it is dry, make sure you use a wet brush and it will rehydrate a bit. There you go. Probably not the tidiest of paint jobs, but that's the green. I thought I got some just under here. I got some under his arm, so you can just rub the brush on there, and it just takes that colour off. That's near enough. Alright. Now that was a number 2. I'm going to try number 1. I think that brush was a bit big for what I'm doing. So for the pants, I'm going to cut over to a number 1. I got a whole set of new brushes and I'm sort of trying them out. As the first set of brushes that I got wore out pretty quickly. They've got like hook ends now, and they're not holding their point like they were. So nice new sable pointy brushes. So let's try the number 1, and we're going to go with dark wood for the pants. Alright, let's load that up. Excuse me. Alright. So again, I'm just going to try and make these lines crisp, but bring that paint down into all of those folds and get some good shading. Now his foot starts right there, so I want to get that. So I feel you need a fairly decent brush size to be able to hold and move around speed paint, but at the same time I find the size of it a little bit, if it's too big then I'm making more mistakes. Too much paint going into the wrong places. Just go around his hand here. Under his cape. Down his leg, where are we? Down here a bit. And then really awkwardly on the inside of his tail here. Alrighty, the front on one side and the other side. Not sure if you can see it, but under his arm there, even though I put green, the green doesn't show up that well. That's because the zenithal, it's quite a dark grey under there. And so what you'll find with speed paints is they really do reflect the colour that you're painting onto. They're very transparent. They won't brighten something that is already dark. I'll just apply colour over the top. So it's kind of like, yeah, colorizing an already shaded area. And of course they can make the area darker, but I'm not sure that they can make an area brighter. I may be wrong there, of course, but alright, here we go, next to the knee, trying not to get any on his walking stick. Failed, of course. Alright, just about done with this bit. Hoping this will be a much shorter video than my last pseudo live paint, an hour and 45 minutes. I thought I'd pick this guy because he was just about done. He just needs some colouring in. Yeah, you can see the vest is drying very clearly. You can see these upper folds are much lighter than the recess, so where that paint gets drawn away, and so in front of his pants it's nicely gone into the folds. I think that looks quite good there. Alrighty, so thinking about what next. I think I'll go for some red on his cape. I think I've got a decent colour match already with the cape, but I'd like to sort of brighten it up. I'm wondering whether the picture has it as a fairly muted tone, but actually it's red. I'm not sure, but I think we can brighten it up and give this guy a bit more table presence. So I'm just getting this brown out of my brush, and I'll tackle this cape. So what I was thinking, this is a very bad guy. You can see I've done his eyes a nice red. I'm going to go slaughter red on his cape, and just a little bit. So speed paint being translucent, I should see that it's going over this muted tone and just add a bit more colour to it. Let's see what happens. Might of course be going way over the top here, but in fact what I might do is, I haven't tried it yet, I might add some medium, and that will just tone, looking at the colour on my brush and thinking that's a bit much. I'm just going to tone it down a little bit with medium. So if you've got a speed paint and it's not quite the tone you're after, it's a little bit too dark, you can always add some medium and it will just tone it down just a little bit, thin those particles down. What do you call them? What are particles called? Pigments. Fewer pigments in the fluid that you're applying. Okay, so a toned down red. Let's apply it down here where it isn't going to make too much of a problem, and we can take it off if it's really bad. I don't know, this actually looks really good. I was actually wondering if I should paint these guys gloss. I accidentally bought a satin, rattle can of gloss varnish, and so the first lot of minis I finished have a gloss varnish. I actually quite like the look, but I know for most minis and conversations I've had with people, people prefer matte varnish. I was wondering, do any of you use or prefer gloss? When would you use a gloss varnish over a matte varnish? One thing to note with this guy's sleeves and collar is it's white. Now I've already gone over it with Holy White, the Speedpaint version of white. I have to note it's not white. Like I said earlier, Speedpaint can't brighten an area, it can darken it. Holy White is a light grey and has white pigment in it as far as I can tell. It's very difficult to mix and get that pigment flowing. And I find it just doesn't apply very nicely. It beads, it doesn't flow into the cracks like, or the recesses like the other colours I've used. It's very difficult to apply. So I have put that over the sleeves and his collar. I think I actually prefer the straight primer, to be honest. The Zenithal looked brighter, for a white shirt. So yeah, I've got a few more experiments to do with that Holy White. And I might do a video dedicated to how I've used it. I've got quite a few models that need it, or that need a white. I'm just not sure that Holy White is the correct choice. So quite disappointing there. I was hoping it would be something that it's not. I was hoping I'd be able to use it to brighten some of the Speedpaint range. I've got red all over his fur. Let's take that off. Or maybe he had a nice snack earlier. I don't know. Hoping you guys are seeing this. I'm finding it difficult to keep within my viewfinder. So I don't paint through the camera lens, I'm painting above it. Alright, getting close to completion here. think I already did this area, didn't I? And it's sort of, it's come away a little bit too much. Just reapply it. Alright, that looks amazing. Now that's going to dry quite differently, but I think that is going to look fantastic. And just give him the extra table presence that he needs. I think I've got a little bit of cleanup to do, and then do a little bit of dry brushing, and then this guy is done. I could do some more work on the sleeves and the collar with some just straight white, same stuff I'd dry brush with, but maybe we'll do a little bit of dry brushing on those. Probably do with some dry brushing on his tail, just to get some more colour down there. Alright, so there's a little bit of red in here. It's got some tufts of fur just here. So I can take some of that off, that would be good. No, making it worse. Alright, I'm going to get a less expensive brush. See if I can get this stuff out. What you want is for it to come away without spreading it everywhere. And without drawing even more red from the pools there into it. Giving him red cheeks, dang it. This is the area I was wanting to dry brush, so I kind of need it to be ready. Actually, one of the other things that you can do, maybe we can get away without dry brushing. Let's try something else. And actually just wet brush over the fur. What's going to happen is some of that grey is going to come off the high points, so yeah, you can kind of see there I've been rubbing, and those high points are whiter than the high points here. If I do the same here and just get a wet brush and go over it. Let's see if we can take some of that off. So it's a zenithal underneath, there's a white prime. I don't want to take any of the white off the recess, but we just want to get some of that high level, that high points. We just want those to brighten up a little bit. Now, from what I gather, this is something that you can't do with regular acrylics. And this is something that people have been, I don't know if complaining is the word, but commenting on in other channels. Is this reactivation thing. I painted this guy like a month ago. I don't know if dry time is a factor, but you can go back over them and make those high points really stand out just by putting a wet brush over. So you can imagine if you're if you don't varnish these guys after you're done, and you've got oily hands, food on your hands, wet hands, you could reactivate paint and you know, slowly take these high detailed points away. It might make your mini look better, but that might not be what you were intending on doing. Anyway, and so if you just rub, you can kind of get some of that colour off. Might not be as much as you got off, as much as if you just dry brushed it, because obviously it's going to add more white in there. But that might be enough for what you're after. And I think in this case, if I can focus him, I think in this case he's looking pretty good. Alrighty, so he's ready for a varnish. So I'll get him all finished up. And yeah, just a few more figures to go. And then we can play Grimm Forest again. Anyway, this has been the Mini Painting Noob. And you know what? That's alright. It's okay to be a noob. Bye.